All right, guys, I've got Ray here. Ray is a client of the Digital Agent Mastery Program. He's a realtor in the Northeast market. Ray and I have worked together for a long time, inside and outside the industry. Ray's a great, a fantastic realtor up this way. He's one of the top 5%ers, guys. So, like, literally, he's one of the guys that does 50 to 60 transactions a year. Definitely having some fantastic results. We're going to get into that. But I'm going to let Ray kind of tell us who he is and what he does, how long he's been in the business, all that good stuff. So, Ray, go ahead. You get the mic.
Thanks for having me, Chris. I've been doing this now, Chris, for going on 18 years. I started at RE/MAX in 2000. The last 5 years, I think, is really what I should focus on. I've averaged anywhere from 50 to 55 transactions on my own. And then within my group, I have a loose group in terms of other agents who work with me. I've probably farmed out 5 to 10 deals a year to them in some way, shape, or form. So, but consistently 50, 55 deals. Every year you can kind of bank on that number with me. And again, with the system that I employ.
Cool. So let's get into the, some of the results that you've had with the Digital Agent Mastery Program. We're not going to get into like the actual campaigns that you run, because that's for folks to talk about when they're inquiring about the program. But more so, like, a lot of people are asked, how many leads, like what's the conversion, how much money am I going to make, by converting the leads and all that good stuff. And listen, not everybody is going to have the same results. Obviously, we know that, but I like to show, or show people real life results. So can you just go into, like, maybe, I'm sure, because I know you guys follow this stuff, your team follows this stuff. So can you go into, how many leads, roughly you've gotten, and roughly the amount of like total spend, like in other words, how much you spend on Facebook or have spent, and then if you have the numbers, how many deals that you've closed directly from these leads, that would be great as well.
Yep, I actually have those numbers, Chris. So as November draws to a close, of course, we all look at our numbers. We want to see where we're at. We look at our monthly goals. We want to make sure we're on track for our yearly goals. No different than any other realtor should be doing. As I look through the November numbers, I'm about 250 leads total up to this point. My conversion on that, closings directly related to those leads, has been 7. So far, 7 closings off 250 leads, which was is much better than what I was getting off Zillow and Realtor.com. And then when I look at the actual money spent, the money invested in, it's probably, last I checked, it was real close to about $1,000. I might be a little over 1,000 at this point as we roll into December. But $1,000 invested in for 7 closings that are averaging $5,000, $5,500 for a closing.
Sure.
Do the math.
Yeah,
it's an excellent investment for me.
Yeah. So 1,000, it's roughly $4 a lead or so. I mean, that's roughly what we see. $3 to $5 a lead, I think, is what.
Yeah, it's far more than it's far more. It's worked far better than anything I had from Zillow and Realtor, because I was dumping money into Zillow and Realtor like everyone else for the longest time.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, it just wasn't working, Chris.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but with Realtor.com and Zillow, those leads are sold a bunch of times. So I think that when you're generating and you control your own lead flow, and that's what I tell our students is like, listen, when we control our own lead flow, we control our own destiny, and if it's working, we can scale it up, and that's the biggest way or quickest way to scale your business. And you've been in this business for a long, long time, so you've seen everything, right? This is when you started before Facebook, Right. So at the end of Facebook and really Google AdWords and all that good stuff, like any digital marketing, like you started before that. So you've been on the door knocking side and the email, and the postcard side and the cold call, and you've been
on the drip campaigns and all the other stuff that we employ. Really, frankly, was never very fruitful. So
yeah. I mean, just the old way of doing business in general, right? I mean, the quickest and easiest way to get results quickly is to and scale quickly is to somehow, either buy leads, right? Or, find a way to generate your own. And, the old way of door knocking and sending postcards and, cold calling expireds and FISBOs and all that good stuff. And listen, does it all work? It still will work for sure if you've got the manpower to do it and the time. But this is such an easier way. So I'm glad that you're having success. Again, thanks so much for giving us some insight, because that's the key to here is to share with these, some of our folks, some successes and or real life, A players like yourself that are crushing it.
Well, I'm thankful to have the program, Chris. I mean, because, again, you look back at what traditionally works. When you get to a certain level in real estate, I don't have time to chase expireds, FISBOs. I don't have time for geographic farming any longer. Those systems for me wouldn't be very productive. I want something that's a little more crisp, a little clean, and a little more direct right to the customer. So far, this has been great. This is much more productive than some of the other things I did way back years ago that I just don't have time to do any longer. And the cost, the money I've spent so far for the conversion rate, I'm making money on the system. And it puts another happy client into my database, which, as we know, grows your database. It turns into other clients and other deals. So the investment, I have no quarrel with the investment. It's been a fantastic investment. I've been happy with the results. And this is something I'm really looking forward to rolling and keep rolling with in 2018.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, again, I appreciate it. I know you're going to get back to work, but it's lunchtime here. I'm sure you want to go grab something to eat, but I definitely appreciate it. Keep crushing it and
it's done. It's done.
And let us know your continued success stories. I appreciate it. All right. Take care.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for the time, man.